Now for this hour, we start with Iran. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said that Tehran's missile program is never negotiable. During talks with the United States, he has stressed that missiles are a defense issue and will not be discussed or compromised. Araghchi has also confirmed that both sides have agreed to hold the next round of talks soon, though no specific date has been set. On the nuclear front, he has insisted that enrichment is Iran's inalienable right, but said Tehran is ready to reach a reassuring deal with Washington. He has warned that Iran would target U.S. bases in the region if attacked, while making clear that American soil would not be hit. Foreign Minister Araghchi has added that the Muscat talks included a handshake with the U.S. delegation, despite the negotiations being indirect. Now for this, we welcome Professor Andrew Latham. He's an international affairs expert, joins us live from Minneapolis. Thank you very much for joining us again. Good to see you. Now, as it seems like Iran is steadfast on their front about, their missile program and also about their nuclear. So what can we expect now?
Well, at the moment, we're still in the negotiation phase, and both sides are signaling that there are things that are not negotiable, which will probably end up being negotiable. The three things that are on the table from Washington's perspective are nuclear warheads and the development of nuclear warheads, the delivery systems, which Iran already has, intermediate and maybe intercontinental range ballistic missiles, and then Iran's proxy forces in the region. Iran right now is signaling that the missiles and the proxies are not up for negotiation, but in fact they are up for negotiation. And yes, these are all elements of Iran's national defense, but that doesn't mean they're not up for negotiation. I would remind viewers that this strategic arms reduction talks between the US and the Soviet Union, and later US and Russia, involved limits on missiles, not just warheads. So that's a doable thing, but right now where we are in negotiations, of course, Iran is making strong claims that they're not up for negotiation. We'll have to see how this pans out.
Right. So why do you think that Iran, although maybe at the end of the day they might be open to negotiations or being flexible, but for now it seems like they're making such bold statements? Why do you think so?
Well, I think that's sort of negotiating tactics 101. Both sides make their maximalist claims and then are willing to, when they get concessions, to make concessions themselves. So it remains to be seen what Washington is willing to put on the table here in terms of the threats that it's making, etc. But it's not surprising at this point that both sides are making maximalist claims. Both sides will have to make concessions if they really want to deal at the end of the day, and those concessions on the Iranian part are likely to involve all three of those elements: nuclear weapons, the missile delivery systems, and then the proxy forces that Iran uses to help secure its territory.
And do you think that, why do you think, sorry, let me change my question again. Why do you think Oman was chosen for this negotiation and not UAE, not Qatar, not elsewhere?
Well, it could have been any of those. Oman has a bit of a history with respect to the JCPOA and whatnot. It's a matter of finding a state in the region that both sides have some confidence in, even though there are tensions between the Gulf Cooperation Council states and Iran, for example. But it's not surprising given the history of the role of those countries. And again, it could have been any of the countries you just mentioned, but it happened to be Oman, I think because of the history there.
With that, I would like to thank Mr. Andrew Latham for joining us and sharing that insight. Thank you very much. Now we move on to Russia.